What'd you say?
Would you date black girls?
What'd you say?
Would you date black girls?
Absolutely not.
Why?
Because they're disgusting.
Really?
Yeah.
Why they sleep with everybody in?
Yeah, you guys are pretty gross.
But y'all beautiful.
Yeah, thanks. I know.
God bless y'all with pretty hair.
I know.
Pretty eyes.
I know. Thank you.
Intelligence.
I know.
Look at
So the video you see pretty much proves all my points I've been making on this platform. These crusties are so desperate, are so undesired, are so unwanted. While you got these simp cells talking about how you should protect them, how you should date them, how you shouldn't leave other races or leave your own race for other races of women, even though they're higher quality. They offer more, they bring more to the table at an individual level, at a collective. You should still protect these queens. Despite all the other things that they do, like hammering babies that they're pregnant with, killing babies that they're pregnant with while they're still giving birth to them, instead of, and we ain't even talk about the abortion because they already get abortions, but even, taking abortion to their own hands and killing a baby while it's alive. You should protect these queens. Now the video you just seen only further proves that these crusties are the femcells of society. It's not black men who have options to date top tier women of other races who are incels in any community. This is not possible. It's not possible for you to be told you're broke in any other community if you make over a certain amount of money a year just because your skin is dark. That doesn't happen in this society. It's not possible to be out of shape when you have a six-pack, when you're muscular and you're defined. When you have these traits as a man, all these traits, you're going to have more options to date better women. And as you can see, that's really what's happening with these black men and these non-BWs. That's why these BWs are getting mad. That's why they're obsessed with these black men with other races of women. Now you see in this video that not even a bottom shelf Brad, a white man, or I don't even know if he's a bottom shelf Brad. He could just be a regular white man. I think he's a regular white man, because if he was a bottom shelf Brad, he probably would have took her in. He probably said, "Hey baby, come in my car. Let's talk about how much we hate black men so much and have those biracial kids." And she would say, "Mm-hmm. Boy, you got that good heart." While her weave falling off her head. That's what she probably would have said. Alright? You probably would have went home with him and used his piece of shit computer to come on YouTube and, watch all these videos. That's probably what she would have did, since she's homeless. Alright? And this is what I mean. Like, I can easily record these creatures, these crusties, and you can see the rehab centers on the West Coast. A lot of the rehab centers on the West Coast, you can just drive past a rehab center, drive past a downtown rehab center, and places on the West Coast that have a high white population and a portion of a black population. Doesn't have to be that much, but it has to be maybe 5%, 10%. And you will see this is like the dating hub for these BWs and these bottom shelf brass. And this is where the meth head meets the crackhead. And this is why this crusty is used to this. She's in here, she's over here saying, "I love your skin, I love your skin, your skin's beautiful." But you see, they're not pushing this narrative. These content creators, these crusties, these creatures, and these idiots who follow their ideology, they're pushing a false narrative. And this is why they don't want to cover stories like this, because the reality is that these BWs practice self-hate. They practice self-loathing. They hate their self. They want the light-skinned babies. The video proves it itself. A lot of videos on my platform proves that. Not just this one, but a lot of them do. But they don't want this to get out because it's already going to ruin their image, because their image is already ruined to begin with. So it's only going to make it worse. You can no longer go any lower than their image is now. So it's just going to make it more publicized at this point. It's showing you how desperate these crusties are. This is really why they're so bitter and they're so hateful to black men who are replacing them. Because no self-respecting black man is going to want this. Just like no self-respecting white man is going to want this. The only people who are going to want this are the bottom shelf brass who can't get no white woman or non-BW. I mean, This is like, I wouldn't even let this woman give me neck. You know, I got neck from 9, what these simp cells would consider a 9 or 10 out of 10 BWs. Talking about incels. I got a neck from women that y'all would worship and put on a pedestal. What the fuck are you talking about? And I don't do nothing with them but neck, because I have self-respect for myself. I'm not going to risk getting some sort of STDs that these BWs have at a high ratio. I'm not going to, and I can't really get, I'm soft looking at them because they're disgusting. So I'm not the only one who thinks this, as you can see in this video, but I can guarantee you, if it was a black man who did this, it'd definitely be a video on it. It definitely video. Let's think about it for a second. If it was a black man who did this, these crusties, these creatures, these degenerates, these welfare queens will be all over YouTube talking about the black man was wrong. He shouldn't have treated her like that. If she was white, he would have talked to her. You know, I can guarantee you that's what they would be saying. I can guarantee you. But they're used to black men like these simp cells not having any standards. They're used to it. They're used to it. They're used to black men having low self-esteem and not realizing that there's, well, because a lot of the black men that go for them, they're not really worth anything anyways to begin with. You know, you attract what you are. So they're used to this. So it's no surprise that this crusty, this creature, probably felt like she was too good for the typical black man in that area. And this reminds me of a time where I was with one of my friends, my female friends. I was at the border of the suburb of Detroit. I was at the border of 8 Mile, and I was at the border of Detroit. My friend was Arabic descent. A lot of Arabics in that area, in the suburbs, in the nice area, in the city, in the hood. And we went to go get some drinks where her cousin worked at, because he worked at the gas station. We would go get some drinks, some Ciroc, some vodka for free. We got it for free. We got a whole bunch of it. We went back to her place in the suburbs and we turned up. But I remember when we got out and we went to her cousin's station, which was pretty much on 8 Mile, which is kind of like the ghetto, the border of the ghetto. And you seen a bunch of these BWs walking around, these crusties, these zombies. Probably one of these crusty G followers and so forth, you know, on crack, it's just looking like zombies walking around. And I remember this was during, I think it was when COVID first started. And I remember the girl I was with, she had a cigarette and she was smoking a cigarette, or she was about to smoke in the car, and I was like, I don't want that in my lungs. I don't like cigarette smoke in my lungs. I want to keep my lungs clear. I want to keep my lungs clean. So she said, okay, she's not going to smoke the cigarette. She put it in her mouth, but she wasn't going to smoke it. She put it in her mouth and she took it out because she was being respectful in my presence. All right. And so we got out the car and we walked in the gas station. And I remember this BW. This what this crusty reminds me of. I remember this BW asking the girl I was with. You know, she knew her place. She knew she wasn't gonna. She knew that the top men or the men with options in her community or are part of her race are gonna date interracially. So that Detroit crusty, she knows what's up. She knew that. But I remember she asked for the woman's cigarette. Like, hey, can I have a cigarette? You know, she didn't have no crack rock, so she asked for the cigarette. Can I have a cigarette? Like Milton off the Boondocks. And I remember she gave her the cigarette. And that's how desperate these BWs are. These BWs will take leftover chicken bones like they did from these white women back in the 1800s. Aunt Jemima, when they was happy to get in the house, to get next to the powerful white man. You know, they would take the used cigarettes. She could have had COVID or something. They'll still take that used cigarettes. And they'll take the meth head white man, like this crusty crackhead, or at least I'm assuming she is, homeless BW is doing and praising him in this photo. And I actually respect this man because I respect this man more than I do the average black simp cell, because he has self-respect for himself. You see, you don't have any other race of men worshiping these BWs because they don't have to. They're being worshipped by them. They're the easiest race of woman anyone can get. If you date BWs, you might as well be considered a incel. If you can only get a BW, you might as well be considered an incel, because that's a default option for anyone, especially the bottom shelf Brad or the white man that no white woman wants in their community. And the reason that is because that since they're no longer able to compete in the market for real women, because I can tell you right now, you go to South Beach, Miami, the black men out there, I'm not talking about the black simp cells. They gotta date these BWs. They don't have a choice. I'm talking about, I was just in South Beach in Orlando the other day. These black men out there, they getting these Latinas, these beautiful Latinas. I ain't never seen that many beautiful Latinas before. And they're just not dealing with these BWs no more. They don't have to. But you see, when you're a man with little options, you're basically quote unquote an incel, then this is your default option. There's no longer no incels in this community. In order for you to be an incel, you have to just not date BWs. That's when you can actually be an incel, because stuff like this is proving that. So I don't understand why people will put these crusties on a pedestal. People will put these creatures on a pedestal. When you see videos like this, you see content like this being pushed out, and you see this constantly happening, and it's only happening with BWs. This is why nobody takes them seriously. All right, but that's all I gotta say. The video speaks for itself. A lot of videos was done on this already, so I don't really have to say too much. It was a lot of good videos done on this. There's a lot of people that were stating legitimate, actual facts in their content, actual real stuff that they were talking about. And I'm glad people are waking up now. I'm glad people are finally coming to realize that these creatures, these crusties, are at the bottom of the barrel. I'm glad black men are realizing that and trying to better themselves as men, so they don't have to, deal with these crusties. I mean, it's a nice thing to see. But I think that's all I'm gonna say for this video. There's nothing more that I need to say because there's a lot of videos on this already. I'm a little late on this video, but I had other things to do. And that's all I gotta say. I'm out.